So you will have seen Joe Biden's inaugural address. Well, you could hardly have missed it, really, could you? Because it's wall-to-wall coverage everywhere. The delightful, lovely, kindly, nice Joe Biden is now the 46th president of the USA. And that nasty man, oh, he's gone to Florida. We won't hear of his likes again. Well, interesting. The main theme of the speech was unity, a divided America that now must unite around a new president. And everybody, wall to wall, left and right in the media, are praiseworthy of the Biden speech. Well, if he wants unity, I would suggest that by beginning his term with the impeachment process against Donald Trump beginning next week is not a very good start. Particularly so, as Lord Ashcroft's polling shows, that 2/3 of Trump voters think he's done nothing wrong at all and question the election result. That's 50 million people immediately who are going to be enraged that they see their man being gone after in a very vindictive manner. So I don't think an impeachment process, Mr. Biden, that will dominate for goodness knows how many weeks all the news headlines is a great way of bringing America together, or I would suggest of beginning your presidency. But in the speech, you'll notice that he singled out a couple of groups for attack, and he attacked them more than once. In particular, he of course talked about the storming of the Capitol as if it was the only violent event that America had seen over the course of the last year. And twice he said that, it's unacceptable that we have white supremacists in our country. Well, Mr. Biden, I agree with you. These are very, very bad people. But there's a problem here. 500,000 people were in DC on that day. They're not all white supremacists. Only a small percentage of them actually stormed the Capitol building. And you're kind of making the same mistake that Hillary Clinton made when she talked about the deplorables, because you're saying to those 500,000, somehow you're all really bad people. But I was waiting for the balance in the speech. I was waiting for the moment when Biden talked about the divide on the left and the problems that they've caused over the last year. But of course, I didn't hear a single thing. And that's because, firstly, Joe Biden is completely in denial about Antifa. Do you remember in the presidential debate when the Antifa question came up, Biden said, Antifa is an idea, not an organization. And of course, there are many of us who think that he's so in hock to the left of his own party who seem to find excuses for the behavior of Antifa, BLM, or others on the streets of America last year. Well, and by the way, you won't have seen this on the national press because it's not being covered. But as Biden was giving that inauguration speech, way out to the west in Oregon, an Antifa crowd had gathered and they smashed the windows in of the Democratic Party headquarters. Have a look at this.
Vandalism, indoor graffiti, stop damaging the Democratic Party of Oregon's Portland headquarters.
And elsewhere in America, in Seattle, in Denver, in Colorado, there were American flags being burnt with a very sinister drumbeat going on in the background. Shops vandalized, small businesses ruined, a courthouse attacked and its windows smashed in. But I think most tellingly of all was the banner in Oregon. Have a look at it. It says, "We don't want Biden, we want revenge." And it is this very dangerous mob on the left who caused looting, rioting, deaths in dozens of American cities last year, who were not satisfied that Trump was gone. They never were going to be. They now have a Democrat president who they think is going to be weak, who they think they can push around. Now, I'm not being complacent about this. I'm not saying these groups only exist in the USA. They don't, of course, because we saw some specimens ourselves of appalling behaviour in the United Kingdom last year, whether it was the desecration of the cenotaph, the daubing of the Winston Churchill statue, the choosing of which statues should come down and be thrown in rivers. The whole cancel culture is up and running and alive and well. And I have to say this, that if Joe Biden wants there to be unity and peace in America, he better get out of denial pretty damn quickly. He better recognise that there's wrong on both sides of this, but that the storming of the Capitol is just one very bad example compared to dozens that have been committed by Antifa and others. Joe Biden better come off the fence. He better condemn violence, thuggery, vandalism, looting from whichever side of the divide it comes. If he does that, he might just find there are some Trump voters who begin to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm not sure whether that's possible, but if America is going to come together, it's got to have an even-handed president, not one who condemns one group in society but refuses to face up to the facts that there is a dangerous organisation called Antifa linked to many other groups intent with their Marxist doctrine of defunding the police, bringing down free markets, bringing down capitalism. Anarchy and chaos and violence are their way forward, and it's about time the Democrats and Joe Biden called them out. Otherwise, you can forget unity. Remember that slogan. We don't want Biden, we want revenge. That is dangerous. It needs to be stopped.